Well, hello and welcome to ARIA 412's second installment of Up Close and Personal. I'm Desiree Soteris.
And I'm Kelly Lynch, the co-founders of ARIA 412.
And today we'll be having a discussion about, what we might be doing, what plans we have for the warmer weather coming up. I know, I just can't wait. What about you, Kelly?
Well, I don't know if you know, I decided to send money to the Arbor Day Foundation last year. And then I waited and waited because I was supposed to get 12 trees. And I was so excited. And I waited and waited all fall. And they didn't arrive until Christmas Eve in the middle of the snowstorm. I'm like, what am I going to do with these? It was basically a little bag of twigs with roots. So I had to go out and plant them all, but now they're starting to actually look like little plants. I brought one up if you can see it.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I have some leaves. This is a dogwood in the front. I'm not sure what this is. I'll find out later. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm super excited because I've never planted anything like that. And usually I kill them. So I'll be digging in the dirt. How about you?
Well, I guess I'm looking forward to having people out on our front porch and seeing people outside again. I'm excited about ARIA 412 shows being outside again and possibly having some audiences. And, last year I also did some planting, but I started some orange trees from seeds from an orange. Wow. And I have 3 that are growing.
That's amazing. I haven't done anything like that creative from the seed. That's awesome.
Well, I did it last March. I was a little bored, didn't have a lot to do. Last time on the show, we had a blast meeting with both Rich and Katie Williams. It was really fun having a couple, and we really enjoyed learning how to make those big cookies. So who do we have this month on the show?
Today, we'll be meeting with the amazing violinist, Monique Mead. Monique Mead is known for her creativity as a performer, presenter, and educator. As a soloist and chamber musician, Monique Mead has performed with the Mexico State Symphony, the Krakow Symphony, Philharmonia Hungarica, Philharmonie der Nationen, and at numerous festivals, including Orcas Island, Rockport, Maui, mainly Mozart, and Schleswig-Holstein. Mentored by Leonard Bernstein, Monique has spent much of her career engaging new audiences in classical music. Her youth and family programs with major orchestras in Europe, Mexico, and the United States have drawn international acclaim for their popular appeal and innovative approach, combining live music with audience engagement at the highest level. Her programs have toured for over 20 years with the Munich Radio Orchestra, Cologne Philharmonic, Munich Symphony, Düsseldorf Symphony, Berlin Radio Orchestra, RIAS Chamber Choir, Neue Philharmonie Westfalen, San Diego Symphony, and the Mainly Mozart Festival, among others. My goodness. She's also been seen on Nickelodeon and other television stations and presented a 6-year series with the Bavarian Radio. Since 2012, Monique has served as the Director of Music Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University, where she helps music students imagine and create new professional possibilities in the modern world. She also teaches violin at the Carnegie Mellon University Preparatory School. Let's welcome Monique Mead.
Welcome, Monique. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey guys, it's so nice to be here and to join you. It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you. We're looking forward to some spring weather so we can see you in person very soon.
Well, the two of you already look like spring weather, a couple of tulips there. Everything blossoming. I brought my springtime
yes,
here as well.
Love it.
Beautiful. So we're so excited to have you today, and we're, looking forward to getting to know you better and introducing you to our audience. And so we were wondering, where you're from and, how you got started.
Where I'm from, that's always a very good question because, we were, I guess we were the misfits in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where I was born. Misfits because
Wow.
my father was there doing a PhD in Russian, which is why we were there. And my mother was an immigrant from Iran. And so and we grew up speaking French at home. So in every way, we ate health food. So in every way, we were just sort of different. And part of our being different in those cultures was that we all played musical instruments. And so they started us like, we had a piano in the house, and my older sister learned to play the piano, and I learned to play the piano. I did not like it all that much, to be quite honest. And then, there were two younger sisters, and everybody had to play the piano. But one day when I was sleeping over at a friend's house when I was 8 years old, and this was the first time that I realized that other people don't speak French at home. I was like, you guys aren't speaking the home language. What's wrong?
Love it.
I just thought there was a home language for everybody. But anyway, I was there, and also shock of my life, she had a television in her room. And we had one little black and white TV. It only got turned on for the Waltons or, Little House on the Prairie if we were really good that week. So she had this unbelievable luxury of having a television in her room. So we sat on her, plush bed, and she turned on the TV, and there was, I think it was the show called like Hee Haw or something, but there were these guys in the, checkered shirts and the plaid shirts and like, playing all this, music. And I was like, whoa, now that is something I'd be interested in, So I'm like, what is that? Violin. Okay. So I went home. I was like, Mom, I really want to play the violin. And, she's like, well, we'll see. We'll see about that. She thought I would forget. And I kept pestering her. And then eventually she took me to the local symphony orchestra, so the Fort Wayne Symphony. And there was a young gal named Delana Jensen who was a child prodigy. She was 12 years old and really hot stuff in those days as a 12-year-old. So my mom took me, and she was playing, I don't know, Sibelius Concerto or something. And, she was wearing that white dress and, playing her. And I just was completely focused on her. And it was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up, and grow up means when I'm 12. So now I'm older than 12, and I still haven't managed to become a child prodigy. but, but I did have a life in music, and that's how I was introduced.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
I did not know that about you. That is really incredible.
Yeah, you never know where inspiration comes from.
The
We were
most
just
unlikely
talking
place-
about hee haw. Go ahead.
To this day, I mean, I could grab my violin and play you a little country fiddle, but to this day, I do enjoy like that sort of fiddling style.
I love it. I grew up in Tennessee, but we were just talking about hee haw the other day randomly. I don't know why. So it's very bizarre to hear about it, a second time this week.
Amazing.
I don't know that I ever saw hee haw after that. I think that was my only exposure, but it certainly did the trick. and at another show now, ironically, so then later in life, I'm here at Indiana University, and there's a Stradivarius that belongs to the school that is on loan to me, and it just so happens that was a Stradivarius that belonged to the concertmaster of the Lawrence Welk show.
What?
Wow.
And so, it probably had bubbles coming out of it and so on. So there's just something about, there's something about showbiz and violins that have been intricately connected to my life.
That's great.
I can't even put that together. That's amazing. So now that you're established and older than 12, for young musicians, what kind of advice would you give them now when they're starting out, when they're starting their journey?
I would tell them to go in with curiosity and to explore. Coming from sort of a pathway that was very rigid, this is how you do it, and then you do it just right. And then when I tell you that you're good at that and you've done that perfectly, then you can move to the next, step. There was sort of, and so that level of discipline really served me well in many ways. But there's such a joy. I mean, I watched, for example, my own son who had excellent classical training, and then sort of at age 12 started to discover jazz and this whole idea of discovering chords. And now it's sort of we all have fun just because it's sort of the messing around with chords and then with sounds and this. Let's not forget that music is a creative process. And so for us, sometimes when we're studying an instrument, um, we're not always encouraged to approach that with a whole lot of creativity and curiosity. So that's what I like to encourage. How can you improvise? What is your voice?
Wow.
Yeah. So
And so you are at CMU in the entrepreneurship program, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's interesting. I really love teaching at CMU, and I do love this entrepreneurship program because it provides students with everything that most of us never got at music school, which is how to make a career out of this. And not only on the business side in terms of, okay, if I want to be a voice teacher, well, how am I going to set that up online and the payment and my philosophy and whatever. But just also sort of basic things like how do I manage my nerves? And there's a whole course on that. In fact, this very
Oh,
semester, and practicing putting oneself in scary situations, and then practicing sort of that mental training part of it. That and then teaching artists. So beyond just teaching your instrument, how do you go and be an ambassador for the art if you're quartet in high school? What do you do? So, I mean, the entrepreneurship program is also just very important and interesting at this particular time because now we've seen sort of how should I say, the shaking up, let's say, of the entire arts world in
mhm.
terms of orchestras and the way that we do business normally.
Yeah.
And, even in the good old days, a year ago when people were going to symphony orchestras, the fact of the matter is that only about 8% of people who are graduating from all conservatories are actually getting that orchestra job or that opera audition. What's everybody else doing? And many of them simply quit and just like, I can't do music, I'm out, because they can't do that one thing that they think is the only path, they've
Right.
been trained to do. Therefore, part of it is, well, what else can you do? And there's so much. And students these days have very idealistic visions of what they want their world to be. And so finding a way of integrating music into that, into wellness, into healthcare, into technology, into society aspects of life, and making musicians sort of citizen artists, part of the ecosystem of society, rather than this one thing that happens on a Friday night in a particular place.
Mhm.
And we've had just very interesting projects come out, and students doing things that have a really big impact on the world.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I don't remember anything when I was at CCM. No classes about, how do you make this work? It was just so structured. You go out, you audition, and you get jobs, and that was the path, and it's it's so different now.
It is. Well, there's a whole lot more. And, the nice thing is that now that the program has been running for about 6 years, now we have a steady flow of alumni who have gone out and done really creative things who then, come back and visit. We bring them in on Zoom, they show and they talk about their projects. And then a lot of times, that just becomes a pipeline for other students as well. So it's an exciting way of making this thing that we love, which is music, and you can narrow it down to classical music if you like, but making music just part of people's everyday lives instead of this little niche thing.
Are you guys ready?
I don't know, but here we are.
Oh, now it's time for the Wheel of Opera.
Oh
Ooh,
boy.
are
Oh
you
boy.
ready?
I don't know. I do love opera. My knowledge is Minimal, but I do love it. Oh.
Don't worry.
Whoa!
Are you okay?
No, this is good.
Yes, I almost like took out my dog
No.
and
So listen,
Oh,
one of my entrepreneurship students, actually two of them who are doing advanced music studies, both of them are actually opera singers, and one of them is doing sort of an opera 101 kind of thing, and program, online, so that you get thing. And this is this is going to challenge me. She makes me realize how little I know about opera. So, but I'm ready. I'm ready.
okay.
Okay, so Desiree will spin the wheel, and on our lovely wheel, we have various colors that are going to correspond with certain kinds of questions. And Monique, since you're not a singer, I've made some adjustments to the questions just for you, so that they're geared more toward the orchestral end of the opera spectrum.
Thank you
See
for
how
that
good we are.
modification.
Yes. So, should the wheel land on the color green, you're going to have a question about an opera overture. If it lands on the color blue, it will be the opera plot summarized as a newspaper headline. I just like that category. It's my favorite. Purple will be famous violinists. Okay. Should it land on red, you get to spin again.
Okay.
If it lands on yellow, you get to choose one of the three kinds of questions. If it lands on orange, Desiree will choose.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, let's do it, Miss
Here we
Desiree. Take it
go.
away.
Blue. Ha, there you go.
Oh, okay. There's the pointer. Okay. Okay.
Blue.
All right, I trust you.
Newspaper headlines. Okay. Boy wins girl through trial of fire and water.
Trial of fire and water. Oh, opera. Well, magic flute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, since you got the question correct, you get to perform a piece of your choice. So, what are you going to be performing for us today?
Oh, okay. Well, since the theme is opera, I wanted to play my favorite part of an opera. And there are no singers. That's not what makes it my favorite. It just makes it my favorite because there's a violin featured. And that would be the meditation from Massenet's Thais.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I want to perform that with my daughter, Isabel, on the harp because it's originally also for harp. So
What a treat.
I know. It's something I love to play with her. And now that she's leaving for college, I don't know who I'm going to play it with, but but it's a treat. I do love performing with my daughter. So
Yes.
here's one of our favorites.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We're so excited to hear it, and take it away. Thank you so much, Monique. That was fantastic. I love that piece. It's beautiful. And it's a real treat to get to hear you play with your daughter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you love shoes, Monique?
I do love shoes, and I haven't worn any for a year, so I can't wait to see this segment.
I know, right? This is like the only time we get to wear these shoes is when we do 15 seconds of shoes.
I could do slippers, but yeah, no, show me the shoes.
All right, here we
Those
go.
slippers would be funny.
Yeah, they would. This is what I'm wearing right now.
Nice.
Oh, that's funny. I'm a little
All right.
more formal because I was filming for you earlier, so I got
I see. All right. Great.
All right, well, here we go.
It's
Round
time
two.
for 15 seconds of shoes.
Yes. Woo!
Woohoo!
Desiree, those are some amazing shoes.
Thank you. So, Monique, when we have guests on here, we really like to see, if they have any hidden talents or other things that they do besides their instrument of choice. So we're wondering, what is your celebrity skill?
Well, it's a budding skill. Let's put it that way, and it's something that that I picked up just recently over COVID because it's hard to perform. As a violinist, you're kind of a one-line instrument, as you will know, and kind of getting a little harmony in my life was what I was looking for, and also sort of it was time to just sort of de-stress. And I'm the music director at a wonderful place called Rancho La Puerta, which is a gorgeous spa and resort in Mexico. And every time I go there, every afternoon they have a sound bath. And what that is are these crystal singing bowls. And I bought a set of these just recently so that I could bring that experience here and maybe to you and to other people in Pittsburgh who haven't experienced that. But when you when you have a set of these, it's just makes these incredibly hauntingly beautiful sounds. And then combining those, with different intervals, it can make you feel, very floaty, but very grounded and just sort of takes you to a different place. So what I've been practicing, and I combine these with recorded music and with, chimes and an ocean drum and all kinds of other sounds to sort of just take you, to a different place. And I do it at a yoga studio, just right next door. And, people just lie down on the floor very comfortably and just sort of melt away in this sound bath. In fact, I'm doing that in about, 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But this is the skill. Okay. So it doesn't take a whole lot of, talent to figure out how to play one of these. But what I'm trying to develop is like this vocal toning. And I'm very nervous because, you're both singers. But
Oh, you'll be great.
but I thought, okay, so I'm just going to give you a sample and maybe you can give me some tips on how I can make this better. But there's something about this that kind of amplifies your voice and just kind of gives you support, especially if you're not a singer. So we go something like this.
Wow.
So that's my own therapy, just sort of it calms me, and it's in my. And remember how I was speaking before about just sort of improvising in some way and being free. Because I'm a professional violinist, that's hard for me to do on the violin because there's always this critical ear as to, is it in tune? Did it scratch? Is this the right way? Did I? And here there's no judgment whatsoever. It's just a bowl and it's myself. And obviously it's just the two of you listening. Nobody's ever going to hear this. And so I don't feel, that self-conscious about it.
Right. That was gorgeous, though. I mean, I found that just that little bit was very relaxing.
Well, what if I play it and you improvise?
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
ready?
do my best.
Okay.
That was freeing to do that. I had no idea what I was going to do.
You just and that's the thing, right? And I didn't either. It's like you don't rehearse this. So
Mm.
I think the three of us need to get together with, like a bunch of bowls and free our souls together. What do you think?
I am game.
Sounds like a date.
I am game.
Yeah,
I love
so
it.
so that's my little budding talent.
Well, I think it's great that you've taken on something new over this time.
Mhm.
It's really fun to talk to people and find out what they've done different and what they've learned during the pandemic.
That's a good point. Desiree, as you say, I mean, as performers, we're always sort of, out there and we're always putting things out, right? Out, producing and projecting and all of that. And the pandemic, has just brought us sort of in. And for me, having these bowls, it's kind of a very deep inner discovery because I never sing. I am not a singer. I would not do this, but there's something so I guess intimate about one's own voice and getting in touch with that that whole focus, like the spotlight has now sort of turned within, and it has been a really transformational and interesting space to be in during this pandemic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That was very enlightening.
Well, Monique, do you have another solo you would like to offer today?
Yes,
Sure.
yes, I do. So this is another fun thing that I discovered over the pandemic. I was listening to a recording of Rachel Barton Pine, and she had all of these great short pieces. And this one is by William Grant Still, and it's called Gamin, and which means street urchins actually, and it's just so fun and playful. And since Tino, my son, is sort of a jazz pianist, this just it just really went nicely. So there's a little bit of fiddle, a little bit of sort of jazz elements in this, and I just love it because it's kind of springtime. It's playful. I just imagine these kids on the street having fun.
Fantastic. I can't wait.
Yes, thank you. All right, let's
Take
hear
it
it.
away.
Woo! Thank you, Monique and Tino. Such a great pleasure to have you guys here and perform for us. I know our audience is really going to love it. We're wondering what you have coming up over the next couple of months. Do you have any plans for performing or travel or?
Well, one plans and then we'll see. But this is what I'm planning that in the near future is, my daughter Isabel is going to off to college somewhere. So, my job is to figure out where that is and, line everything up so we can have her off to music school. Aside from that, I am planning my summer camp. I have a 1-week strings summer camp in the gorgeous Olympic National Park, which is, in Washington State, absolutely beautiful. So I am planning that. I'm planning to have that in person. They're way ahead of the game on their vaccinations there, and so it'll just going to be nice music and nature with some very talented high school string students, and I do that every year. Other than that, I'm going to just take a breather, I think, for, a couple of weeks once the semester is over here at CMU. This has been a heavy lift.
Mhm.
Yeah, I bet.
I will not lie, trying to teach classes hybrid, some people sitting in the classroom and then, on Zoom. It's been a heavy lift. So maybe just some time to just, relax a little bit. And then other than that, I do look forward to going back to Germany as soon as, the travel resumes. I lived there for a long time. I developed my career there, and I have very good friends and work to do there. So hopefully that'll resume. And then, of course, planning my next music festival at Rancho La Puerta, which is just a lovely, beautiful, beautiful place to be. And the big question I'm getting, especially these past weeks, now that the sun is beginning to shine again, is are you going to do your porch concert series again? Because
Yes.
it's something that ran for like 7 months last year, every weekend. And I don't know that I'm going to do something on that massive scale, but I'm thinking, some weekend music festivals, on my porch and in some beautiful places, neighborhoods, inviting local musicians to perform and bringing neighborhoods together. Many of them now vaccinated, and we have to celebrate that we came through
Yes,
it. Yeah,
So true.
indeed. That sounds great. Well,
and
keep
doing
us
sound
posted.
baths
Yes.
and expanding the sound bath
Well, I
offerings.
cannot wait to participate in that. So I really hope that you will let me know when the
Hmm.
next one is because I
That
would
sounds
love it.
I will. I'll do
Okay.
them. Okay.
All right.
all right.
Well, it
Salud.
has been a pleasure having you here, and we would like to toast you.
Toast to you, Aria 412, for bringing people together and just for so much fun.
Thank
I don't have
you.
this much fun all by myself, the two of you.
We can
This
do it
is
anytime.
That's true. Just call us up. We'll chat.
Yeah. We'll meet you on Zoom.
okay. Here's to you.
Here's to
Here's to
you.
you. Woo!
Woo! That was fun.
Super fun.
Yes. I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know either. So Desiree, what's coming up next?
Oh,
What's your next concert about?
our next concert is on May 4th, and we are doing bootleg opera or the Roaring 2020s. So we're going to be celebrating, just getting to the other side of this pandemic and everybody getting vaccinated. And it's just going to be a really big party. So we hope that you guys will join us in this big celebration.
I think that sounds fantastic and amazing. And just like the 1920s, 2020s, we're going to be crazy. We're going to have
That's
fun.
right.
I love
We're
it.
getting out there. Woo! Yes. And
Great.
I just enjoyed learning more about Monique,
Mhm.
and I loved those singing bowls.
It's beautiful.
It really is. And I can't wait to take part in her class.
I would love to join as well. I tried to play a bowl one time when I
Oh,
lived in Utah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. I lived in Utah,
What?
but
You lived
yeah,
in Utah?
I lived in Utah. I don't know
I,
why I lived in Utah.
I
That's a
didn't know that.
long story. For like 3 or 4 months, I lived in Utah and had a random job and found this underground community of really cool, funky people that wore like, these kinds of beads, like natural stones. And in the store, they had a singing bowl, and it wasn't crystal, it was like brass or metal, but it was really cool.
Well,
That's
I
my
learned something new about you, Kelly. You are just full of mystery and surprise.
I've lived many lives.
Me too. But that's a musician for you, right?
That's so true.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
All
Uh,
the
yes, doing up close and personal with you today and talking to Monique. And we will see everyone on May 4th for a big operatic celebration.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Cheers.